We'll go ahead and start with the bamboozling then. All right, yep. So the Nintendo Switch OLED model was revealed. Nintendo with their names, man, top tier. And not only is it called the OLED model, it's parentheses OLED model. We got to make sure that we name it here correctly. But it is set for a release for this year, October 8th. It is $350. It has a built-in LAN port to the dock, which is something that Nintendo has never had on a console.
Nope.
Even the Dreamcast had a built-in LAN port. I didn't know that until the other day, but it did. So come on, Nintendo, what are you doing? It does have enhanced speakers for handheld mode. It has a better stand for handheld mode. 7-inch OLED screen for handheld mode. The dock, however, can be bought separately if you want to have that built-in LAN port and not have some external, some other adapter or whatever. But here's a little interesting thing about the dock. It's not going to be sold in retail stores. You can only buy it on Nintendo's website. Everything that I said so far sounds pretty good, right? Like, it's like, okay, all right, we're getting there. This does sound like some good information. So, what else we got? Nothing. That's it, dude.
That's it.
Yeah, we have no chip improvements. It is still going to be 1080p docked, and it's still going to be 720 handheld.
But you know what it is going to still have?
Ace Attorney.
Hell yeah.
So, Zach, man, I saw this come out, whatever. I saw all this line up, and the first thing I thought is like, man, I bet Zach immediately rushed and pre-ordered this son of a bitch so he's ready to play Ace Attorney. Because Ace Attorney comes out this month, and I'm assuming as soon as you saw this come out, Jimmy's words just ran through your head where Jimmy's like, oh, I'm not going to play that on the old Switch. I'm going to get it on the new one and play it on its juicy goodness.
What actually ran through my head was, this makes sense. Most of the rumors we heard were just saying they were having new screens made. Never mentioned anything about chips.
See, all we ever heard was that, NVIDIA was working with Nintendo. We knew that, but yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, there was a lot of reports of of new actual hardware for the Switch in terms of that's still the reports. But so here's what I think kind of happened, and I've seen a couple other people talk about this, is that there's two different kind of reports that came out, and they kind of got mixed together into one, where it's just like you have this source over here saying that, yeah, we're working with Nintendo with new screens and stuff. And you have this source over here, like, devs and everything, where it's just like, yeah, we're working, we know of like, more powerful hardware for like the Switch or something, that which is apparently from what I'm still seeing. I don't want to talk about this all fucking year, because we've been bamboozled ever since basically 2018 at this point. But 2022, there is supposed to apparently potentially be still a next gen Switch, like an actual next gen Switch. Because I mean, like one of the guys, one of the big insiders I follow, Jeff Grubb, whenever he kind of followed up on all this, even he was saying, it's like, look, everything I've been told all along from all my guys is that next year, that's what I've been told all along. So he's just like, this is just kind of like, here you go, kind of hand you over sort of thing. But I don't know. When it comes to this, it's a true Nintendo move. It is to release this and not give you any actual upgrade. I will say, if you are a big handheld player, buy this. If you play the Switch a lot in handheld mode, and like especially if you're still like with an OG day one Switch, for example, and you don't even have the red box Switch, and you play a lot of handheld, buy this. This is totally worth it. The price points makes it a little sketchy. It does. But, I mean, if you're a diehard Switch fan, you play a lot of Switch games, and you play them in handheld mode, buy this, right? But if you play it docked, don't waste your money. It's that simple. I will say there's going to be a lot of like competitive like Smash players or Splatoon players or something that's probably going to hit the dock up at least, to make their lives a little bit easier. Yeah. But I mean, if you play docked, man, just don't waste your money unless you just got the money to burn and you just want it. Because don't get me wrong, the white Switch does look really clean. I won't lie, it does look super clean, but I mean, like for me, there's no point in buying this. I mean, I don't play handheld almost at all. I pretty much docked all the time. But like I said, I know I know handheld players will. This is a huge benefit for them. But there's also the downside of you're spending $350 for this when you could spend like $50 less and get an Xbox Series S, or $50 more and get a PlayStation 5 digital. You see my point?
Yeah.
Where it's just like you're spending $350, but you're still rocking like some old gen tech. I mean, like here's an example of like where we know like Nintendo needs to step up and get some more hardware. Like, let's say, like Genshin Impact, for example.
Yep.
That thing has still yet to come out because of hardware issues, and that's the whole reason it has not come out yet. And I do think one potential reason that we're not getting the next gen Switch like perhaps this year is because I do think it's going to add more of a development process problem as it is, because games coming over to the Switch when they've been on other consoles, there's already a new development process to get it adjusted. But think about it. If you do the new Switch, you basically kind of have to do it twice, more or less. One to fit.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
One to fit for this Switch with the lesser hardware, one to fit for the new Switch with the better hardware. You more or less have to do it twice if you want to be able to maximize the other one. You know what I mean? You know, that was one common kind of thing that I saw online about this as well. But I mean, this whole thing was just like true Nintendo fashion. We've been bamboozled again, though.
Now it makes sense why all Nintendo games had to be able to run on freaking Windows 98.
Yep, it makes sense. And for anyone that maybe has tuned into this show for the first time and have no idea what I'm talking about, before they recently updated their servers, their online servers, which were very, very old, they had a test feature that would see if like Splatoon would run on Windows 98 with their old servers. I can't make this up. For anyone that, you know, maybe hasn't listened to the show before and hasn't, you know, heard that news in the past, like that's a legit thing. So yeah, you're right. That it does make a little bit more sense. A little bit
more sense. I mean, overall, it looks real nice, as you said.
Yeah, it does look pretty.
And I mean, the screen will probably definitely make a huge difference for handheld. But
yep,
yeah, an agreement for dock. I got my big ass like 52-inch 4K, so.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really not a big deal. I did also find it really funny when a lot of people were pointing out that the PS Vita and the OLED Switch were not that different, and the PS Vita was so much older. You know, I did think that was actually really funny, where they were even just like, hey, man, even the PS Vita can at least organize stuff into folders, and it has themes. You know, what are you doing, Switch?
You can have a whole freaking soundtrack on it.
Exactly. I did find that pretty funny. But like I said, if you're a handheld player, the Switch OLED model is going to be for you. I would definitely say if you have an OG Switch, not even the red box, and you play a lot of handheld, I'd go and you play a lot of Switch, I'd buy this. I'd buy this 100%.